Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in. You know it's Friday and the Friday check has to happen. Good morning to you and welcome. Please let me know where you're joining us from and who is joining in with you today on Story Time. I have very special guests that will be joining us. Two special guests, in fact, that will be joining us today on Story Time. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited for them. Yes, but today we are reading a special one, Mango, Abuela and Me. And this one is written by Meg Medina and Angela Dominguez. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of CANDLEWICK Press. Thank you so much to all the creators out there allowing us to share such amazing books here on Story Time. But of course, our guests will be joining us very shortly. Please do stick around and get to meet this special guest that we have today. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you and welcome. And as always, let me know where you're joining us from and who is joining in with you. Absolutely, so we can say hi to them. And to all those who join us later on at 11 for the recording, or indeed later on if you're checking out our archives, you are welcome to Story Time. Thank you for joining in. Please remember to always leave your names down there so that we can say hi to you the next time we're here on Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in. Betty Graydon, how are you doing today? Baby Bia, Marlon, how are you doing? And Amanda out in Seattle, how are you today? Thank you so much. Ellen Edwards in Chicago, thank you for joining in Story Time. And to everybody that is joining us, Jonathan Pande out in Lusaka, Zambia, always appreciate you joining in. Thank you for being here on Story Time. It is Friday. I hope your week has been great. I hope you've had a wonderful week indeed. But of course, we're wishing you an even better weekend, a good Friday, and of course, a good Saturday and Sunday. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you have lots of fun, read lots of books, but also find time for yourself to relax and enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure being here on Story Time. Another great week that we've had this week. Just look at some of the outstanding books that we've read together. All those beautiful ones, starting with Planting Stories on Monday, and then we went to Digging for Words, and then we had They Call Me Mix, and then we had Mango, Abuela and Me, which is coming today. And of course, special mention, like I said, we won't read this one this time around, but Waiting for the Biblioburo is one of those books that we've had on there as well. Amazing. So please do check out all those different books. Find them at your local library. Find them at your local school, ask for them, and anywhere else that you get books from. Absolutely loving it that we're here together today. And of course, my special guests who are here with us. I cannot wait to introduce them to you. But of course, better say good morning to whoever is joining us this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you. Happy Friday, Kate. Baby Theo, Garrick, how are you doing out in Pittsburgh? Always a pleasure seeing you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you. Glad you're here. Good to see you back. Garrick, Baby Theo, and Kate, good morning to you out there. Thank you so much for joining us from Pittsburgh. Glad you're here. Amanda Wortman, how are you doing today? Baby Bia, oh great. I get to say to you hi twice today. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm glad you're on the live today too. Thank you for joining in. Out in Seattle, Amanda and Baby Bia out in Seattle. And you say, can't wait for today's story. Thanks for another awesome week of books. Well, you are welcome. And Amanda, remember, if you and Baby Bia and Marlin, everybody there has stories that you want us to read on Story Time, please do send them to me. Let me know, and I will do my very best to bring them here to you on Story Time. Thank you so much for joining us, Baby Bia. You know there's always a hug here for you. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Rocco, Clay, and Chriselle out in LBC. Yes, joining us from Long Beach, California today. Good morning to you, and welcome to Story Time. Yes, high fives all over the place just for you. Thank you so much for joining in. Betty Touche, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Rikia, good to see you here on Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you in class in an hour or so. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely love it. And Rikia, don't forget your soccer cleats today. We have soccer today, so make sure you bring those along with you. Thank you so much for joining in. Keep enjoying your breakfast, and I'm glad you're here for Story Time. Good morning to you, April. How are you doing today on a sub day? Well, April, enjoy it. Enjoy it. I hope you're sitting with your feet up and ready to enjoy Story Time and also having a good snack with you. Jemison, Alicia, and Lindley, how are you doing too? Thank you so much for joining in from Orange County. Always a pleasure to see you here. Good morning to you. Oh, love it. Amanda West, how are you doing? Sarah and Nathan, oh, and thank you so much for doing me a solid today. Jamie, how are you doing? I will not forget this time. Thank you so much for joining us from Illinois. How is Illinois today? Thank you so much for joining in. Jamie, Sarah, Nathan, and of course, Amanda West. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Oh, the softbox salute. Thank you so much for joining in. Tim Goodspeed, absolutely appreciate you, my brother. And if you don't know who Tim Goodspeed is, just stick around and I will play something and you will get to remember. You will get to jiggle your memory and remember who it is. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. But, without further ado, I have special guests today and I'm excited to introduce them to you. All right, please help me welcoming today Lydia and Chewy. Welcome to Story Time.
Hi, good morning. Here's
morning.
Chewy. Chewy, the little parrot.
Look at that. Oh, that is so cool.
Hi.
Welcome to Story Time, Lydia.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Welcome to Story Time too.
Chewy is still waking up. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Please tell us about Chewy. Who is Chewy? How did you end up with Chewy?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I was not expecting to have a parrot, but so Chewy is a cherry-headed conure. They're parrots that live in the Amazon in South America. So they're found in Peru and Ecuador. But in years ago, they ended up in San Francisco. So here in San Francisco, where we live in the Bay Area, there's a flock of wild parrots that escaped from people's houses, from pet shops, and now we have over 100 of these parrots living in San Francisco.
Wow.
So yeah, I know. It's
that's crazy. And so how is it? How did you come to know about birds and how do you work with birds? Like, I mean, I see birds and I'll just see them and appreciate them or just, from a distance. How is your work? How did you come to love birds?
Yeah, so I've always loved birds. As a kid, I was just fascinated with them, and I knew early on that I wanted to do something in biology or wildlife. So I always wanted to study birds and be around birds. And so Chewy came into my life because I found them in Fort Mason, which is a park area in San Francisco. And Chewy was just a little baby, and they had fallen out of their nest. So I found Chewy on the ground, and since I know how to take care of birds, I just brought Chewy home and started taking care of them. And now here we are.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
That was in the beginning of September. So a little over a month ago now.
Yeah, wow. And I would love to see, I know you have the pictures and everything, so I'd love to see how much Chewy has changed in that time. I'm excited for that. But also, Lydia, you say, you know, you wanted to study birds, and what do you do? What's your job, or what's, you know, like?
Yeah, so right now I work with the National Park Service in the Bay Area, and I work on Alcatraz Island. So, you know, the famous place called The Rock that used to be a prison, but now it's open to visitors and it has a lot of great history, but it also has a big seabird colony. So a lot of seabirds come back to the island every spring and summer and nest there. And in that time, you can see thousands and thousands of birds building their nests and raising their chicks on the island. So as the biologist of Alcatraz Island, I help manage those colonies and monitor their success, and also Chewy just flew. And yeah, come back, Chewy.
That is so cool. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, you know, you're there doing all this this important work, and and what can we do, you know, like as people, as we are out in the parks, as we are out at the beach or somewhere else, like what can we do to help, you know, protect birds, and just what role can we play?
Yeah, so I think just having an appreciation of birds is a great first step. You know, they're everywhere, you know, and you know, wherever you are, you're likely to see birds, whether it's in the city or in the mountains or the beach. So you can start studying birds, and I feel like once you get to understand their natural history and their ecology, you know, where do they go in the summer, where do they go in the winter, you start to get an appreciation for how they live. And you also start to understand the challenges that birds face with, you know, changes with the climate and loss of habitat. So just having that awareness, I think, is a great first step to appreciating, learning, and then eventually, you know, just having more protection of these different types of birds.
Well, you know, like I know I've seen Chewy from pretty early on to now. So would you like to share some pictures with us and just walk us through some of the things, you know, like what is Chewy's favorite food and all kinds of things? I'm
Chewy has lots of different foods that they like. Here we go. I'll share some photos
as well, and then I will. What's happening in that one?
So this was actually the very first day I found Chewy. They were very small and their eyes weren't even open. So when birds are very young, their eyes are still closed. So Chewy's eyes were still closed when I found them. And I knew that this parrot would need a lot of care. So I bought them special baby parrot formula and a feeding syringe. And it's kind of like bottle feeding. So I started feeding Chewy that way. And before I had them set up in a better nest, I just put them in my hat to keep them warm. And then this is one of Chewy's favorite foods, strawberry. Chewy loves strawberry. They go crazy for strawberries. So this was the first time Chewy was introduced to strawberry, and they loved it.
I mean, so do parrots parent parrots get to feed, do they regurgitate into the young's mouth, or how do they feed?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. So the parent, a bird has a, a part of their body called a crop. So maybe if you've seen with chickens when they're eating, they start to get bigger and bigger around the chest. So that the crop is where a lot of birds store their food. It's like the food that they carry.
Yeah.
So the parents will eat a bunch of food, carry it in their crop, and then take it back to the nest and regurgitate the food and feed the chicks that way.
Yeah.
And this is Chewy's favorite place to be, on my shoulder and in my hair. They really like hair. They like to just get into the hair, and I think it's kind of like how they like to nest. It just provides some sort of protection for them.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm working from home, this is where Chewy usually is.
Yeah. Oh.
And then
too with the feathers.
Yeah. So this is when Chewy was. This was taken maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. So Chewy didn't have a lot of their feathers. So the white that you see on their body, those are called down feathers. And those are the fluffy baby feathers that a lot of birds have when they start growing. And it's the precursor to having adult feathers. So it keeps them warm. And so Chewy had a lot of growing up to do. They had they have a lot of green around their face, but the rest of their feathers were growing in slowly.
Wow.
And this person, Lydia.
Lydia, yay.
Yeah, so Lydia likes to hang out with Chewy too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so Chewy has lots of friends.
Oh, good morning, Lydia.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then this is how Chewy eats strawberries. They're just very messy. But yeah, so those are all the photos I have. But
and what's your plan eventually for Chewy?
Well, since Chewy's been with me for a little over a month now, parrots are known to bond with people very strongly. So Chewy and I have a very close relationship now, and I'm hoping to keep Chewy in my life. But with parrots, they do live for a very long time, and Chewy's life expectancy is about 25 to 30 years. So it's a long commitment.
Wow.
So for anyone considering a parrot as a pet, I just recommend do your research, understand their needs. They do need a lot of time and training. And they do live for a very long time.
No, that's amazing. That's good. And are there any tricks right now that Chewy can do that?
Well, I think
the age.
They're just hiding in my hair right now. But I think you just saw it. Chewy flew. That was
pretty cool.
Yeah. So Chewy's been learning how to fly, and that was actually the first time I've seen them fly.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad we got to share it with us here.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
So how long does it take before, like, from birth until time they can fly?
Usually about 12 to 14 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So just seeing that, Chewy is starting to fly makes me think they're about 12, 13 weeks old.
That's awesome. Well, Lydia, thank you so much for being here on Storytime today. And of course, Chewy, for bringing Chewy with you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Chewy is going back to sleep.
Thank you for joining us so early in the morning. I'm glad you could do it, and at such short notice as well, too. I
Oh
really
yeah, no problem.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And for, like, I hope that people who are out there have learned something, and just also just, like, just getting to see Chewy. I hope it's
Yeah,
cheering up a lot of people. Yeah. So we
definitely.
have our book today does have somebody
Oh
special
yeah.
in there too. Yeah, this one is called Mango Abuela and Me. So that's what we'll be reading. And of course, so we thought, why not have Chewy here with us today?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
thank you
great.
so much. Yeah, have a wonderful day. And please
Uh,
keep me posted on what Chewy is up to. And yeah, I would love to hear all about it.
Yeah, I definitely will. All
All
right, say
right.
bye, Chewy. Bye.
Thank you so much. And if you're just joining us, we were joined today by Lydia Diamico and Chewy. And Lydia is a biologist at Alcatraz National Park at Alcatraz. And so if you're ever up there, you might get to see Lydia and all the other birds out there. Maybe not Chewy, but all the other birds that are at Alcatraz. Thank you so much for joining in, Lydia. I'll see you
Yeah,
soon.
thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you everybody for joining in. Now get ready. I hope you enjoyed meeting Chewy. I am so excited. I'm so glad that Chewy was with us here today, and of course Lydia. But for now, before we get started with our story, join me on the other side. Get comfortable, get cozy, and we will be back after this short message.
Hey, this is Timothy Goodspeed of the Soapbox Salute. I'm the one who wrote Storytime's theme song. If you'd like to hear more of my protest folk music, you can check out the links below on Instagram or at my website. You are watching Storytime with Mr. Lamada.
Thank you, Tim. All right, here we go. Mango, Abuela, and Me. Written, of course, by the amazing Meg Medina and illustrated by Angela Dominguez. One of my favorites. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of CANDLEWICK Press. A big thank you to them for allowing us to read such wonderful books here on Storytime. CANDLEWICK Press. Thank you. All right. She comes to us in winter, living behind her sunny house that rested between two snaking rivers. Her old place was too much for just one, Mommy tells me, as we make room in my dresser for her clothes. And too far away for us to help, Papi adds. Abuela belongs with us now, Mia. But I still feel shy when I meet this far away grandmother. How is it gonna be? What does she like? Pan! Papi unfolds Abuela's bed and slides it right next to me. You will get to know each other, he says. But when I show Abuela my new book, she can't unlock the English words. We can only look at the pictures and watch Edmund race on his wheel. Oh. Then, just before we turn out the light, she pulls out two things tacked inside the satin pocket of her suitcase. What are those? What did she take out? A feather, una pluma from a wild parrot that roosted in her mango trees, and a snapshot, una fotografia, of a young man with Papi's smile. To abuelo, she says, climbing into bed. Snuggled in my pajamas, I smell flowers in her hair, sugar and cinnamon baked in her skin. That night, I dream of a red bird circling in the sky. Oh. The rest of the winter, while Mommy and Papi are at work, Abuela waits for me to get home from school. Then we bundle up in thick socks and handmade sweaters to walk to the park and toss bread to the sparrows. My Espanol is not good enough to tell her the things an abuela should know, like I am the very best in art, and how I can run as fast as the boys. Oh, Mia. And her English is too poquito to tell me all the stories I want to know about Abuelo and the rivers that ran right outside their door. With our mouths as empty as our bread baskets, we walk back home and watch TV. Abuelo and I can't understand each other, I whisper to Mommy. Things will get better, Mommy says. Remember how it was with Kim? Kim is my best friend at school. When she was new, our whole class helped teach her English words. Now, Miss Wilson sometimes has to say, please be quiet, girls. Others are working. We have a few of those in the class, right, Rikia? After school, the next day, while Abuela and I are making meat pies for our snack, I pretend I am Miss Wilson. Do, I say, pointing to the bowl. Abuela says, do, masa, and rolls it flat. Masa, I say. She drops a spoonful of meat. She drops a spoonful of meat in place. Carne, I say. Meat, pasas, raisins, aceite, oil, and many more words. Oh. Then I remember the word cards we taped in our classroom to help Kim. So while Abuela fries our empanadas, I put up word cards too until everything's covered, even Edmund. Soon we are playing Oyiyi, hear and say, all around the house. But that night, she still calls my pillow a palo, and she says Edmund is a gangster. We'll keep practicing, I whisper. Oh. But the next day, I cannot practice with Abuela after all. Edmund has run out of his favorite seeds, so Mommy and I have to ride the bus downtown to buy some more. Sometimes there are kittens sleeping in the pet shop window. But when we arrive this time, something even better is behind the glass. What could be there? What is there? Whoa, look, I say. The window has become a jungle filled with birds. And right in the middle is a parrot staring at us with black bean eyes. I press my nose to the glass, thinking of the red feather Abuela gave me. Let's buy him, I tell Mommy. But Mia, you already have Edmunds, Mommy says. Oh no, not for me, I say. For Abuela, like the parrot that lived in her mango trees. He can keep her company when I'm at school. Wow, so thoughtful, Mia. When we bring him home to Abuela, she says, Un loro, a parrot. We name him Mango because his wings are green, orange, and gold like the fruit. During the day, Abuela teaches him how to give beaky kisses like we saw Chewy do, and to bob his head when she sings Los Pollitos to him. Buenas tardes, Mango, Abuela says, opening his cage door when I get home from school. Good afternoon, I say, and give him a seed. Soon, Mango calls to me even before we open his cage. Buenas tardes, he says when I open the door. Good afternoon. Oh. Abuela, Mango, and I practice new words every day. Mi Español gets faster, and Abuela and Mango learn the words of the week, all the months of the year, and the names of coins. How did he learn all that? Papi asked when we show him all that Mango can do. Abuela winks at me and gives Mango a piece of banana, peel and all. Practice, she says. Oh. Before long, Abuela asks me how to say harder things too, so she can talk with the neighbors when they stop by. Has the mailman come? It is chilly today. Can I get you some cookies and lemonade? Soon, when my friends stop by to see Mango's latest tricks, they can understand everything Abuela says. Aww. But best of all, now when Abuela and I are lying next to each other in our beds, our mouths are full of things to say. I tell her about my buen dia and show her my best pintura of Mango. Abuela reads my favorite book with only a little help, and she tells me new stories about Abuelo, who could dive into the river for stones with a single breath and weave a roof out of palms. I draw pictures for her. She still misses their old house, she says, but now only a little bit. Aww. Mango listens to us from his perch until my eyes grow heavy. Hasta mañana, Abuela, I say. Abuela kisses me. Good night, Mia. Hasta mañana, hasta mañana, good night, Mango cows. And soon we all fall asleep. The end. Oh, thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Always appreciate the time we spend together. I hope you got to enjoy that one. That was Mango, Abuela, and me. A wonderful, wonderful story indeed. And of course, we got to meet Chewy today. And you know what? Good news is that Chewy is still around. So we're going to say bye to Chewy all together. Are you ready, Miss Lydia? All right, we get a chance to say bye to Chewy. Thank you, everybody, for joining in Story Time. A wonderful week that we've had together, and I hope that you'll be able to join me again next week for more stories. Another great lineup as we continue to honor and celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. Lots of books to share. Another set coming up next week. And then after that, we dive into the Halloween books. Great books to come. I am excited, and I'm glad that we're able to spend this time together here. And of course, meeting great people, great friends. Absolutely love it that we're here on Storytime together. Thank you so much for joining in. And Chewy and Miss Lydia will be here just saying bye to us and sharing all their joy with us. Thank you so much. Everybody joined in wherever you are, please remember that we have every little thing that we do counts. All those little things that we do, let's try our best to make our worlds better places, our communities better places for all, not just for some, but for everybody. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate the time we get to spend together here. And of course, I hope that we continue to be curious, we continue to learn, and we continue to have those sometimes difficult conversations that need to be had in our communities. Let us make sure our communities are good, are the best that they can be. Thank you for being here on Storytime. Miss Lydia, thank you for being here with us. A scientist, biologist, bird lover, thank you so much for being here on Storytime.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great story.
It was, right? I love that book. I enjoy it so much.
Yeah, Chewy enjoyed it too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. To everybody that joined in, we'll see you again on Storytime next week. But if you missed Storytime, please, you know where to find our archives. Dig in, find all the books that you can get from there. Thank you to everybody that joined in today. Thank you one more time to you, April, Jemison, Alicia, Lindley. And you know what, April, enjoy your day off. Have fun. Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely love it. The soapbox salute, Mr. Tim Goodspeed. Thank you for joining us and for this wonderful song that we're playing right now. Thank you for doing that. Absolutely love it. Amanda, thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. And of course, Baby Bia, thank you so much for joining us out in Seattle. Rikia, I will see you in a little bit at school. Thank you so much. Don't forget your soccer stuff. We have soccer today. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Sarah, Nathan, Jamie, and of course, Amanda West out in Illinois. Thank you for joining in. To everybody that is joining us, I said, on the recorded sessions, please do enjoy. Leave your messages. Let me know so we can definitely say hi to you. And of course, enjoy your time today, the story, and of course, hearing about Chewy joining us today with Lydia. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. I will see you again on Monday. Much love from me and Chewy and Lydia. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks.
Thank you. All right.
Stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait. Oh. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.